this type of behavior, including the newest live streaming participants. We can have respectful conversations expressing opposing viewpoints without disparaging each other. There is no need for random accusation, innuendos, threats, or lecturing individuals. We are not here to debate with you. We are here to listen to all points of view as long as they are expressed respectfully so that we can make educated decisions to best achieve the highest level of positive improvement for the county. We as a commission will also strive to be respectful to all and try to make the best decisions to benefit everyone, even though that is nearly impossible. I believe there have been overreactions on all sides during this initial learning curve, and it's time to take a deep breath and get us back on track. We are all expected to demonstrate mature restraint when we passionately express our opinions. We all need to try harder to make this a productive meeting, regardless of the opinion or vote if does not go in your favor. Sometimes tough decisions have to be made, and you've elected us to make them, of which we are trying to do to the best of our ability. Fair warning, I will not tolerate disrespectful behavior by anyone while I sit in this chairman chair. Let's have a productive meeting. Okay, public comments. We have one so far. Mr. Urban. Already.
My name's Ed Urban, 61 Glenwood, Wausau. I haven't been here in quite a while, some new faces. Wait, I got one. No, it's not what you think. We got too many people in the soup.
The rest might be off.
January 3rd, not the Independent, but she was in there. This is Tuesday, August Press. I am a new grandfather, first baby born, Shiawassee County, and she's a new mother. I'm very proud of that. And Sheriff, you should have left the Wausau meeting the other day, sue the sheriff. He come and he spoke and he left, and I didn't see him leave, and I stood up talking about him when he was younger and growing up in Perry with my four nephews, the Marsh boys, and we trying to learn how to deer hunt, and these guys are in the, I get deer bait and things, I get stuff out of the dumpster over in Perry. I had a stack of pizzas, and all the boys come home and they grab my sister's food and eat everything, and they got done eating, and I seen they were eating the pizzas, and I come out of the bedroom, and you know where I got those? They got them out of the dumpster. And then my nephew, he shampooed his hair with some of my urine that I use for deer hunting, and he just moved it off everybody. Anyways, hope Sheriff does a good job. He started with, I don't know if he got the cars back, but he let them go. Help get there. Save on some money, and anything that he can do like that, that's going on. I guess that jail needs some work in there, and haven't come here in quite a while, so I gotta, and I don't hear it. I'm gonna say the judge and mayor here. This was the best mayor we ever had. He was the best.
And you know I love your stories, but
Yeah,
I have a long meeting tonight.
I need that money now.
Thank you. Any other public comments? Pete?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. At Monday's economic and physical meeting, I discussed the wind energy amendments that the Planning Commission will be considering. At that time, I had noted that they were being placed upon the website that day. Unfortunately, they didn't make it due to IT issues. They are up now, and I appreciate being notified by folks that have been following the issue. So it should be up now and available for the public, and we've also sent it out to our planning commissioners and look forward to the meeting next week.
Thank you, Pete. Any other public comments? Hearing none. We'll jump right into our main show here. Economic and Physical Development, Commissioner Cascarelli.
Yes, two items. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This afternoon, item number A, accept the motion to consider authorizing resolution number 17-02-04 to extend the maturity date of the note for the Mystigay Creek Intercounty Drain from March 1, 2017 to September 1, 2018, bearing interest at the new rate of 1.89% per annum, and authorize the board chair to execute all necessary documents.
Make that motion.
We have a motion?
I'll second it.
We have a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of moving this forward signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, the same? Motion passed.
And the second final item under our committee, accept the motion to consider authorizing the release of the lien upon payment in full and mortgage discharge from the rehabilitation improvements on the property located at 214 John Street in Corona, and authorize the board chair to execute all necessary documents.
Support.
Motion and support. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of moving this forward signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, the same? Motion
The
passed.
chairman always makes the motion.
Thank you, Commissioner Cosgrove. Thank you. County Finance and Administration, that will be Commissioner Marks.
Thank you, Commissioner Ruff. I move to consider authorizing the county clerk's office to hire one vital records clerk to refill a vacancy at pay grade 3 on the RIDE salary schedule with a range of $24,774 to $30,309, and authorize the board chair to execute all necessary documents.
Second.
We have a motion and support. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of moving this forward signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion passes.
I move to consider authorizing the appointment of the chief deputy county clerk at pay grade 6 on the RISE scale with a range from $32,085 to $39,253, and authorize the board chair to execute all necessary documents.
Support.
Motion and support. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of moving this forward signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed to the same? Motion passed.
I move to consider authorizing the clerk's office to hire 2 temporary employees to be paid at an hourly rate of $14.57 with no benefits, and authorize the board chair to execute all necessary documents. The cost is to be paid out of the clerk's existing budget.
Second.
Motion and support. Any further discussion? All in favor of moving this forward signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
2 opposed, 4 in favor, 5 in favor. Motion passes.
I move to consider authorizing the prosecuting attorney's office to hire an assistant prosecuting attorney to fill a vacancy at pay grade 10 on the RISE scale with a range from $45,284 to $55,402, and authorize the board chair to execute all necessary documents.
Second.
We have a motion and support. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of moving this forward signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, the same? Motion passes.
Item E, I move to consider authorizing the prosecuting attorney's office to hire a part-time criminal investigator to work no more than 24 hours per week with no benefits at a pay rate of $25,638 per year, and authorize the board chair to execute all necessary documents.
Support.
We have a motion and support. All in favor, any further discussion?
Just a little bit. She does, we were looking at funding for that. We do have the funding for it. Most of it will be made up of grant funds that come, she's got a $25,000 grant that comes from her office, so Patty might have a little bit more, but that was pretty much our discussion. We kind of emailed back and forth and got that she's gonna be willing to put pretty much all of the money towards it, so it won't even be anything that we have to scrape out of any of our general fund or any other funds, so it'll be completely funded through the prosecutor's office.
Yeah, I appreciate that information, Patty. A relatively short turnaround is helpful.
Is it a new grant that we're getting?
They didn't have enough staff to cover, to qualify to get this grant, so it's a grant they've had before, but they haven't had for the past few years.
Yeah.
Any further discussion? We have a motion and support. All in favor of moving this forward, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, the same. Motion passes.
I move to consider authorizing payment in the amount of $7,500 to the State of Michigan DTMB for 2016 MSAIL imagery data of Shiawassee County to be incorporated into the GIS mapping application across the county. This is to be paid for collectively in shares by the county departments utilizing the data.
Support.
We have a motion and support. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of moving this forward, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, the same. Motion passes.
I move to consider authorizing the replacement of the remaining 9 30-year-old HVAC units at the county jail for an amount not to exceed $72,573, complete and installed by Lennox Electric, to be funded out of the 401-267-970 Capital Improvement Fund, and authorize the board chair to execute all necessary documents.
Second.
We have a motion and support. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of moving this forward, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, the same. Motion passes.
I move to consider authorizing the purchase of a VoIP telephone system to replace the existing county telephone system from Suntel Communications at a competitive bid price, adjusted downwards, of $132,383.81 to be paid from the Capital Improvement Fund 401-267-970, and authorize the board chair to execute all necessary documents.
Support.
We have a motion and support. Any further discussion? Or need for clarification? Yes.
I'd like to have a little clarification. I had to leave for a mental health meeting yesterday early, so I wasn't here to hear about that.
Is that something's Pam here?
Pam's here.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
The phone system, we have, I believe, is over 30 years old. It's starting to break down very frequently, and it's getting impossible to get parts to keep it up and running any longer. By going with this phone system that uses the internet to deliver the phone service, we're no longer using antique underground phone wires that were put in when our parents were children and that are now breaking down. And the entire process is much more economical. We'll save a lot of money on this. And then there's 2 servers in the next items after this that are involved in the phone system, but RESD could get the service for us cheaper than Suntel could, so we took it out of the Suntel contract and are paying for it separately outside the contract.
So everybody's going to get new phones? And
Yeah.
all the departments? Okay.
Yeah, and we'll be getting rid of a lot of unused lines and unused equipment and all that as well, that now the system's been just layered on over the years, and it'll be all cleaned up and more efficient.
Okay. Thanks.
And the representative from RESD was also explaining that the cost of phones in itself is a tremendous savings. The way we're paying now versus the way we'll be paying for in the future is, I don't have the figure in front of me, he had him, he was rolling off his tongue, but it was an amazing amount of savings. So we have initial outlay of cost, but the savings will outweigh.
Yeah.
Thanks for the information.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in
That's just
favor of
kind of
moving this forward,
setup of the
signify by saying
phones.
aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
It's who's gonna have the
Motion
phones and
passed.
how many lines there are in
Mhm.
comparison to.
I move to
Trump
consider
thinks
authorizing
they
the
only
replacement
have 24
telephone
instead of
system
about-
and the purchase of a
I think there was
server
like
from
50,
Gulf Connection
so it's
in
gonna
the
pay
amount of
off.
$5,779.63.
You can take that.
Support the replacement phone system as a controller host and voicemail system host. Failover support for the 911 and sheriff communication systems. This will be paid as follows. 911 will pay $1,926.55 out of the 216-325-930 fund. Sheriff will pay $1,926.54 out of the 101-301-804, and the county's share will be $1,926.54 out of the 2017 telephone budget 101-285-858.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and
And
support.
with this
Any
thing here,
further
we're getting
discussion
the
or
price that we
clarification?
had.
Hearing none, all in favor of moving this forward, signify by saying aye.
So we're gonna pay for
Any
service
opposed?
agreement for 5 years.
Motion passed.
This is with Suntel?
Yeah.
I move to consider authorizing the replacement telephone system to approve the purchase of VMware software necessary to virtualize the servers required to operate the phone system. This will be paid as follows: 911 share, $1,824 out of the 216-325-930 fund. Sheriff will pay $1,824 out of the 101-301-804, and the county shares $1,825 out of the 2017 telephone budget 101-285-850.
Second.
We have a motion and support. Any further discussion or clarification? Hearing none. All in favor of moving this forward signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, the same. Motion passes.
I move to consider authorizing the approval of budget amendment number 17.1 to transfer funding for the telephone system to the capital improvement fund to be repaid from savings in the general fund telephone operating expense 101-285-850 each December until fully repaid.
Support.
We have a motion and support. Any further discussion or clarification? Hearing none. All in favor of moving this forward signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, the same. Motion passes.
I move to consider authorizing the acceptance of the grant between the State of Michigan Department of Licensing and Regulatory Affairs and Shiawassee County Sheriff's Department 2017 Medical Marijuana Operation and Oversight Grant to the county law enforcement offices in the amount of $31,305 and authorize the sheriff to execute all necessary documents.
Support.
A motion and multiple support. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of moving this forward signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, the same. Motion passes.
I would move to consider authorizing the Sheriff's Department to enter into a 4-year lease in the amount of $88,778 with Ford Motor Credit in order to acquire 3 2017 Ford Interceptor utility vehicles to replace 3 existing patrol cruisers and authorize the sheriff to execute all necessary documents.
Support.
We have a motion and support. Any further discussion? And I'm going to call on the sheriff. He wants to clarify any of that at all? Or did I catch you off guard?
Well, I can, just that these cars will be replacing old aging patrol cars that we have now, several in excess of 150,000 miles on them. So,
Thank you.
I have one question. Why are all the police departments going to these utility vehicles instead of cruisers?
there's more room in them in the back to carry some of the necessary supplies. Is probably one of the main reasons. They're all-wheel drive, so they're good in several different aspects. So Ford just seems to dominate the market this year. It kind of goes back and forth, but this year Ford has it.
Big Explorers, is that what they
Yeah,
are?
they're Explorers.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor of moving this forward signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, the same. Motion passes.
I move to consider authorizing the use of up to $20,000 from the Waste Management Fund, 230-230-700, to utilize in-household hazardous waste program, allowing the health department to conduct 2 hazardous waste collections in the calendar year 2017, and authorize Larry Johnson, health director, to sign all necessary documents.
Support.
Motion and support. Any further discussion or clarification? Okay, hearing none. All in favor of moving this forward signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, the same. Motion passes.
I move to consider authorizing the use of up to $15,000 from the Waste Management Fund by the Shiawassee Conservation District to cover the cost of 2 electronics recycling events to take place in the spring and fall of 2017, and authorize the board chair to sign all necessary documents.
Support.
Motion and support. Any further discussion or clarification? Hearing none. All in favor of moving this forward signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, the same. Motion passes.
I move to consider authorizing the acceptance of the one-time grant from the Michigan Veterans Affairs Agency in the amount of up to $2,200, and authorize the board chair to sign all necessary documents.
Support.
Motion and support. Any further discussion or clarification? Hearing none. All in favor of moving this forward signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, the same. Motion passes.
Mr. Chairman, that concludes my report.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Marks. Public safety and courts, that would happen to be mine.
Well, that'll be
Pardon me?
Commissioner Bart's doing that.
Commissioner Bartz is going to proceed. I didn't finish.
To accept a motion to consider authorizing Shiawassee County Central Dispatch Board to pay SunGuard to mitigate the One Solution Computer Aided Dispatch, CAD, Message Switch and Report Management System, RMS, to a new server in the amount not to exceed $11,576 to be paid from line item 216-325-930-000 and authorize board chair to execute all necessary documents.
Second.
We have a motion and support. Any further discussion or clarification? Hearing none. All in favor of moving this forward signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, the same. Motion passes.
Consider authorizing the Shiawassee County Central Dispatch Board to contract with Landmark Design Company to complete the architectural design for the new central dispatch facility, conduct the contractor bidding, and act as a project manager / supervisor over the construction process at a cost of 7% to the full remodel expense to be paid from line item 216-325-803-000 and authorize board chair to execute all necessary documents.
Second.
We have a motion and support. Any further discussion or clarification? Hearing none. All in favor of moving this forward signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, the same. Motion passes.
Consider appointing Cindy Garber to the Central Dispatch Board for a 3-year term from February 16th, 2017 to December 31st, 2020, or until a successor is appointed.
Support.
Motion and support. Any further discussion or clarification? Hearing none. All in favor of moving this forward signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, the same.
Mr. Chairman, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Commissioner Bartz. Health and Human Services, Commissioner McMaster.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move to consider authorizing the annual agreement for extension services between the Shiawassee County and MSU Extension for delivery of MSU Extension programs in the amount of $101,995,000 to be disbursed in quarterly payments and authorize the board chair to execute all necessary documents.
Second.
Motion and support. Any further discussion or clarification? Hearing none. All in favor of moving this forward signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, the same. Motion passes.
Item B, I move to consider authorizing the Health Department to sign amendment number 1 of the comprehensive agreement with the state of Michigan, Department of Health and Human Services, in the amount of $974,000 for the period of 10-01-2016 to 09-30-2017, and authorize Larry Johnson, the Health Director, to sign all necessary documents.
Support.
Motion and support. Any further discussion or clarification? Hearing none. All in favor of moving this forward signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, the same. Motion passes.
And Mr. Chairman, that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner McMaster. Commissioner and Chairman Root.
I don't really have anything at this time. We're just kind of moving along. I think everybody's doing a good job, doing good work. Everybody's attending their meetings, so keep up the good work.
Thank you. Any other agenda items that any of the commissioners may have?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
would it be appropriate at this time to give a report of some local government meetings I have attended that fall under this item?
You could do that tomorrow.
Okay.
Usually tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah,
Or,
I
I
was
see
thinking-
the Mayor Pro Tem is here if you want to comment during the public comments, if you want to give an update. If not, I can say some stuff tomorrow. Thank you.
Good. I also have a couple of things, but I'll save it till tomorrow as well, in regards to the monthly reports and departments. Pretty interesting stuff, but we're moving right along here, so I'll save these till tomorrow. Okay. Anything else?
Actually, I do have something, just another thing to put out to our county department heads, February 27th, the deadline for the job descriptions for the wage study, just so that everybody gets those back in. We don't want to base your job description on the 1997 job description, so I know it's not easy. I know a lot of guys, or a lot of department heads have a lot of stuff going on, elected officials. It's hard to take that time out. Hopefully, if you guys can find some time, try to do, you know, what at least what you can. If there's definitely some stuff missing that you feel needs to be added, maybe the whole thing doesn't need to be reworked, but definitely if there's additional duties and positions, make sure that you're covering them so that we can get a, you know, a full value of that wage study and not send a 1997 job description for you. That's it.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Anything else? All right, this brings us to our second public comment session. I have no papers. Are there any public comments? Okay. Yeah, I have your
I
information.
can't do what they say.
Here's yours, start showing.
Pertinent. I've never been again. Back to the telephone thing, I'm what they call computer illiterate. I can't even use my $10 cell phone to check it out and do things. But I'm an American, and I'm a couple other things. What I'm worried about is if you go all this, I think you're talking these telephones, they're all wireless, cordless, space things. Okay. I as a survivalist, not a doomsday crazy enough, but a combat veteran, a survivalist, and a prepper. Now a sheriff has the backup. He needs a backup for backup for backup. He has a loaded pistol. When he's done shooting, he can reload. He has a clip. I just saw it on the clip. It's a backup. But if somebody they got these TV, I see one today in the truck, and there's a television that shows you what's in front, and stuff, all this stuff. Eventually, I imagine that they can cut all these airwaves, satellites, and that somehow with chips or whatever they got to do that stuff with. The VA gave me a free computer because I got a purple heart, 2 of them. And it's still in the box, 7 years or whatever, it's still in the box, in the four table. Using the chain, it's not now, but,
Makes two of us.
a backup, if you're gonna cut these wires, I would tag them and keep them handy, so you could always go back to a telephone, a standard 12-volt telephone. I would tag them and just keep it for backup. That's what I would do. And that's something, before you gut them out and everything, it won't cost too much to have somebody write down where they all go, I guess, and keep quiet about that from here, about that thing, and the backup, because backup usually should be kept quiet. But that's something I would think about, is just keep it handy, because I got a letter from Oregon VA Hospital, or a call, I don't remember, and they said, because I was there recently, that all my records, I haven't been there in 8 years, but they said all my records are stolen because they tapped into the computer over there. Oregon, Portland, Oregon VA Hospital, had to stop there and get some meds when I was visiting. So if they can do that now, and then all this other stuff they do, I would sure have a backup for wherever it's gonna go, central dispatch or here at the courthouse, some way to stay in tune with everybody. Thanks.
Thank you, Ed. Any other public comments? Any at all?
As usual, I'll hand it to you in a sec.
Are past commissioners allowed to speak? I don't know if that's,
Oh, you don't want to give me background?
I don't know.
I'm tempted as it is.
like Eddie says, he has been called a few other things in his past, and I'll repeat them, but not here. It's not for mixed company. But he's a good friend, and he's a fellow vet. But anyway, dealing with all this stuff you went through tonight, which is terrific. First, Mike, I'm sorry, Vice Chair, I think it's great, but I was wondering, where the hell were you 4 years ago? We could have used your insight on running meetings. Huge, okay? And I'm so glad that you're doing it now. I know Jeremy, when it comes to buying new vehicles for any department, likes shiny cars.
There we go.
Yes.
There we go.
And other than that, we've got all of the different various departments that come in here every year. They need this, they need that, they need the other thing. And it's normal for equipment to run out of, life, and it needs to be replaced. So that's a common thing. But then when we come to former commissioners, we keep them guys around in the closets forever. And I'm just suggesting that we might not want to look at that issue too. Another person brought that up earlier in the week. The important thing, and I didn't hear about it tonight, was the windmill situation. There are a lot of people that are extremely concerned with the safety hazards of the windmills being in the county. So please do your homework. All right, all it is a big company coming in, promising lots of money. But they have never produced any kind of documentation showing what kind of money. Where the people are worried about their health hazards and everything else that's concerning with it. What about the lifespan of those turbines, which are somewhere around 15 years? Who's going to tear them down? Who's going to fix them? Big companies, they like to build, you see them in box stores all the time. They come in, they make one heck of a good business, lots of money, and then all of a sudden, overnight, they're gone. We're stuck with the buildings. Yeah, there's a realtor somewhere who's going to make a buck off of them, or try to. But with the situation with those turbine fans, those things are monsters. They're huge. How are you going to have a company come in and take them down if this company, APEC, just takes off? Which is what they are known to do. They only put the turbines in an area for roughly 5 years, and then they sell them off to some other company. So the contracts that they're signing now, are they going to be valid 15 years from now when the turbines have to be repaired or tore down? And those things are, like I said, they're huge. That's a big cost. And the county cannot afford doing that. And the farmers that are getting a paycheck, whatever it is not going to add up enough to do away with those turbines on their property. So really look hard at that subject, okay? Other than that, I think you guys are doing a heck of a job. I know it's only been 2 months. Like standing on a cliff with a foot over the edge and the other foot on a banana peel. Hopefully you guys keep right on going, okay? So best of luck to you, and hang in there.
Thanks, Commissioner.
Oh, you should.
Any further public comments? Any at all? I hope I didn't scare you off. Okay, I'm going to bring it back to the commissioners for final comments. Anything to say? Any response?
I just appreciate the comments from Commissioner Schneider. It's helpful. It has been a relatively short time and a lot thrown at us. I think we're all up for the challenge here, doing our best, just trying to get our bearings and a sense that we all want to pull in the same direction. Our recognize there's going to be some differences, but as long as we engage in constructive dialogue, have the same objectives and goals in mind and what's best for the community here in the county, I think we'll do just fine. So, but thank you for acknowledging that.
Yeah, and I too, you're gonna scare me off. I kind of enjoy this job, so a little stressful sometimes, but we're gonna do just fine. Anything else? Meeting adjourned. Thank you very much.